It's the morning after Christmas Day. The question is, how are you? I hope you're all doing well. I hope you are all fine. And it's still Merry Christmas. And I hope you will join us this morning as we talk about the post-Christmas hangover. Hindi po yung hangover dahil sa inom. Hangover from everything we have gone through in preparation for and in celebration of Christmas. We are going to interview a very knowledgeable person later in the show, and I do hope you'll stick with us, join us, and thank you for being subscribers of Cignal TV and viewers of One News and Agenda. Also, for those of you who watch us via Facebook, maraming salamat po. And that includes all of you who watch us on YouTube. We hope that you are warm, you are feeling well, healthy, whatever part of the world you may be, lalo po dun sa mga nilalamig. Speaking of nilalamig, I'm here in our studio in Lipa City, Batangas, where it has been a constant 20 degrees. Okay? Para na ring Baguio. And I have to tell you, sleeping in a 19 to 20 degree cold room can be a challenge. Doble na ang blanket, naka-jogging pants pa. Okay, so let's get on with the day with our daily starter. And it is something that I would encourage each of you to do while you are on your Christmas break. Life is a series of tiny miracles. Notice them. Okay, I have been walking around my small farm here in Lipa, Batangas, and I've been paying attention to the little miracles of life, the miracles of plants, the miracles of animals, the miracles of life. And it is interesting that if you start paying attention to the little miracles in life, you will then start noticing or remembering the big miracles in your life, the miracle of birth, the miracle of being able to survive challenges, etc., and the miracle of Christmas, that in spite of everything we've done, God continues to love us and help us. Okay, so pay attention to the series of little miracles around you, and you would in turn become grateful for the life you have. Now let's go to the front page of the Philippine Star, December 26, 2022. It's a Monday, and the headline of the Philippine Star quotes President Bongbong Marcos to Pinoys, "Open your hearts to unity." PBBM went back to his original motto, his rallying call for unity among the Filipinos, and he mentioned, he did a video message speaking in Tagalog. "Dalangin ko rin po na ang pangako ng isang maginhawa at magandang kinabukasan ay makapagbigay ng pag-asa sa bawat Pilipino. I also pray that the promise of a comfortable and bright future will give hope to each Filipino." So that is our hope for everyone as well. And whatever political color we may stand for, that we would all first prioritize unity, and the president said love. Okay, love for one another. Of course, there will be people who say, yeah, we can love, we can be united, but that doesn't mean we will not notice or point out or criticize what should be criticized. So, kanya-kanyang point yan. Okay, but the big photo at the top of the front page of the Philippine Star is a photo of Pope Francis kissing, Pope Francis kissing a figurine of the baby Jesus as he attends the Christmas Eve Mass at St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican. Okay, that was December 24. And the Pope called out to all the Catholic believers for an end to the war in Ukraine and other conflicts. And the Pope is quoted as saying, the world is starving for peace, delivering the 10th Christmas Urbi et Orbi to the city and the world. Blessing and message of his pontificate, he also urged people to look beyond the shallow holiday glitter and help the homeless, immigrants, refugees, and the poor in their midst. Okay, so at the top of the front page, at the header, we now have U.S. closely tracking China's activities in West Philippine Sea and reiterating their commitment to protect the rights and independence of their allies. Meanwhile, Russian President Vladimir Putin says Russia ready to talk, but Ukraine countered by saying not true. So ayun, gera pa rin sila. And we just hope that in 2023, these statements will bear fruit and lead to peace talks and withdrawal of Russia from Ukraine. And they may say that they won. Whoever claims they won the war, the important thing is the war ends. Okay. Meanwhile, the center photo of the Philippine Star, as tradition has it, families flocked to Manila Rizal Park to celebrate Christmas Day yesterday. And according to a report of DZBB, around 43,000 people visited the park between 5 a.m. and 2 p.m. More people are expected to visit the park today, which has been declared a special non-working holiday. So, wala naman pong opisina ngayon. Huwag kayong nagmamadali. Even those of you who are returning to Metro Manila from the provinces, cool lang kayo, relax lang kayo, plan your trips, and be careful. Meanwhile, the United Nations Weather Agency says that the past 8 years was the warmest on record. Okay? While the persistence of a cooling La Nina event now in its third year means that 2022 will not be the warmest year on record, its cooling impact will be short-lived and not reverse the long-term warming trend caused by record levels of heat trapping greenhouse gases in our atmosphere, said the World Meteorological Organization. Okay, so yan po. Mainit pa rin ang mundo, although may La Nina and many people in the mountain province, in Tagaytay, here in Lipa, would contest that. Say, kaginaw nga, kami ay naglabas na ng aming mga kumot at aming mga jacket. Ayan, okay. Anyway, at the bottom of the front page, year-ender report of the Philippine Star, PNP stresses rule of law, human rights under BBM. General Rodolfo Azurin Jr. Has led the shift of the PNP from bloody end results in the war on drugs and brought back order and the rule of law back to the fore as a new administration took over this year. At sana naman po ay malinis din. We hope that General Rodolfo Azurin will also lead in cleansing the PNP of those who have unjust, bloody hands in their midst. Yung mga, kumbaga, ay gumagawa ng sariling paraan at judgment of suspects. Okay, last but not the least, we have COA begins reviewing government vax procurement. Okay, sinimula na po ng Commission on Audit reviewing documents of government vaccine procurement after the Department of Health turned over unredacted contracts related to the Duterte administration's multi-billion peso procurement of COVID-19 vaccines. It took some time following disagreements between the two agencies on how the overdue audit should be conducted, according to Senator Francis Tolentino. And warning, fair to cold weather will prevail in the country in the next 3 days. Ayan na po. So that's essentially the review of the Philippine Star front page. There's more in the inside pages of the paper, including my column. Special po yung column ko today. It's special because there's a very touching story that I had to write about. So if you would please access the Philippine Star this morning online, or better yet, buy yourself a copy and read the inside pages, including my Cito column. Okay, now, as I mentioned, we will be talking about the hangover, okay, effect of Christmas, but not the alcoholic type. We will talk about the hangover, or in some cases, the setbacks suffered by people in terms of mental health after Christmas celebrations. I remember John Denver when I was preparing for the show. I remember John Denver once saying, I have the highest of highs, but I also get the lowest of lows. And I think for many people, that is what many of you are going through. You had the highest of highs during Christmas Day, but now you are going through the lowest of lows for many reasons. Let's find out from our guest today, December 26. Gabriel, please roll out the Betamax.
Dr. Lillian Gui is a certified specialist in counseling psychology. She is an experienced specialist in the mental health care industry with expertise in family therapy and psychological assessment. Aside from this, Gui specializes in working with children and adolescents suffering from mood disorders, disruptive behavioral disorders, and trauma and abuse.
Dr. Ali, good morning and Merry Christmas to you. Okay, I think you're on mute, Doctora.
Good morning, Cito. Good morning to everyone. Your background is so nice.
Okay, thank you. Well, I'm here in Lipa, Batangas in our small farm, and I just checked out the weather. Medyo malamig, 20 degrees.
Wow.
Okay, now to get the day started, I mean, how are you? How was your Christmas?
Well, the buzz and the busyness of Christmas, since, we have been, we can go out now, even if the COVID's still there, and my daughter coming home. It's so hard with all the traffic. But again, Christmas is Christmas, and everybody looks forward to Christmas, not because of family, but because of the love that each one of us have for one another. So It's really a busy, loving, wonderful holiday.
Okay, it's a busy, loving, wonderful holiday, but I guess it also, with it comes the hangover. There is the emotional hangover, there's the mental hangover, and I think, in fact, I was thinking about that last night. I was worrying for some friends, one who just lost his wife early this year, and I was worried for a couple of people who were really in dire need, etc., or out of a job. And I was saying to myself, we're all enjoying Christmas. We're all full, but tomorrow or the day after Christmas, it hits, and it hits hard. I remember when I spent Christmas abroad, it was the next day was depressing.
Yes, yes. Yes, it's true. Because many times, because we are a Catholic country, and you know how the Filipino loves to celebrate. We have all the fiestas and the parties. We tend to sometimes overspend and using the holiday as a reason to overspend. And that is where we feel stressed out after the holidays. And of course, as I mentioned, family coming in and out, nandyan din yung uuwi, babalik sila. And there are many factors. Yes, Zito, I also have a friend, a dear friend, who just lost her husband a few weeks ago, or barely a month ago. And it can really be very sad and depressing. But again, it all depends on a person, on their perspective of what Christmas and how the holiday should be spent. Nasa sa atin yung pag-control, nasa sa atin yung pagplano, nasa sa atin yung pagtanggap. So it varies from one person or one family to the other.
Okay, but how do we manage the situation? Because when I was thinking about it, I said, how do you look out for or what do you look out for in terms of signs or behavior that will warn you, oops, we better call so-and-so, or we better visit so-and-so because the signs are there?
Number one, if the person, if the person that is affected after the holiday suddenly became quiet, yung parang hindi mo masyado na nako-connect, try to check on them. In fact, it's nice to really check on friends who recently lost a loved one, or who is experiencing a bad moments or bad days or bad things. We don't have to have any signs. The heart will tell you where to go. Always remember to get in touch with them. As we celebrate and as we are with our family, we also get in touch with those we know who lost someone in their family. A simple hello. Kamusta ka na, friend? You don't have to say, kamusta ka na, friend? Nandito kami sa Tokyo ng family ko. You don't have to. Just, friend, how are you? It's Christmas time. I know you recently lost your loved one, pero how are you? If they say something and if you think it is not valid, do not contradict them. The reason you're calling them, you're getting in touch with them, is to see how they are, not to prove that you are right. So first of all, reach out and then listen to them. And then, silently you pray for them. And then, of course, if you want, you can send something, pagkain or something to them, so that maramdaman din nila a little about the holiday.
Yeah, Doc Ali, I have to confess, I am probably the worst at that, because in fact, just the other day, I was speaking with someone abroad, and when I realized that person was withdrawing and justifying her withdrawal because she has all these problems, fears, I just kind of said, anong gusto mo mangyari? Makomatos ka? Anong gusto mo mangyari? Gusto mo magbigti? Because, it's just like, you get to a point where you get fed up with the self-pity. You get fed up with, people withdrawing to a dark spot because that's the last place they should go. Yung maawa ka sa sarili is already a step to the bad side. What am I supposed to do when obvious na obvious, parang, hello lahat, we've been very nice to you, now we're just going to get in your face. Is that wrong?
Cito, in fact, I admire you, because a lot of people, the reason why suicide was, successful was because many people are afraid to talk about it. Nakikita na nila yung signs, nakikita na nila lahat. They are just withdrawn and so afraid to talk about it. It's okay. Unless, handled properly and you are very close to the person, it still should be handled properly. And people who are already going there would be very honest to talk about it. And if they talk about it, mas maganda kasi na-unload nila. Do not be afraid. Kasi tayo, people pleaser tayo mga Filipinos. So I don't know how to say it, but most of the time we try to say, oh, hindi, we try to deny. when the truth is really, as you mentioned, glaring in front of them already, in front of you and in front of them. And it takes really a very caring heart and a strong heart and the right moment. Okay, we always have to pray for the right moment to say the things. Ano ba ang gusto mo? Do you want to end your life? Is this the only way you can think of? Aside from ending your life, what are your plans? Kung wala siyang plano, so what do you think ending your life will be? How will it help you? That's why I said it needs to have proper timing and lots of prayers and professionals to do it, because after saying that, what are the next things to say? It's very vital for the person to think.
What are the right things to say? Because in my case, I essentially pointed out, okay, may problema ka. This is your problem. But you have other things to be thankful for. You can still walk. You can still talk, you can still hear, you may be visually impaired. I mean, there are really great people, great musicians who can't see, great singers who can't see. So what the, sorry, sabi ko, what the hell?
Yeah. It's true. Ako normally, I would always, people who are already there on the dark side, okay, as you mentioned, who are feeling major depression, they not because they don't want, but the capacity already to think about the positive, hindi na nasa kanilang hand. Wala na silang ganyan. So asking questions is very, very important, and the right questions and at the right time. When we tell them, meron ka naman ganyan, meron ka naman, hindi nila kaya i-comprehend. We should ask them, aside from being blind, what are the things that you at the moment can do? Let them be the one to tell, well, I can still walk. Pero for them to think they can still walk, they can still, mahirap na yun. Mahirap na kung nandoon na sila sa major depression, mahihirapan na tayo. So it's really, it takes a lot of patience.
Yeah, Dr. Ali, because I remember speaking with someone and that person told me, I don't want to go out anymore. And I said, why? What's your problem? I'm old. I walk with a cane, and I don't want people to pity me, and I don't want people to have to assist me, and I end up feeling sorry for myself. And I said, I spent 1 year with a cane, and what I chose to do was see how beautiful Filipinos can be to people, who are elderly or with PWD. In that 1 year, nakita kong kabaitan ng Pilipino. Is this common that elderly or injured people will withdraw and, parang nagkukulong na lang sa bahay?
Yes, because that is for someone who is very active, who has been very useful, kumbaga, who has been very okay, suddenly to fall into this position, to be in this situation, mahirapan talaga sila. Number one, sasabihin nila, ayaw nila. Remember, there are people who are constantly giver, pero pag binigyan sila regalo, na iilang sila. Pero kung sila namimigay, they feel good.
Yeah.
Now, nandyan din yung feeling nila na ayoko makabigat. Kaya ang tanong natin, paano mo sa tingin mo, what should be done so that hindi ka nakakapabigat sa iba? Instead of telling them na, hindi ka naman nakakapabigat, ganun-ganun. Hindi, they knew all of that. But to challenge them to think of ways on how to help themselves is the main issue there. If they say, ayoko makapabigat, for example, I am walking with the cane, ayoko maging pabigat. So aside from walking with the cane, what do you think should you do para hindi makapabigat sa iba?
Magagalit ka sa akin, Dr. Ali. Kasi pag akong tinanong, gusto mo bili kitang wheelchair?
Pero that's, you know what? Saying that is also good. It means to say you care for the needs. Kaysa, for example, I'm walking with the cane. Tapos sasabihin mo sa kanya, gusto mo ba bigyan kitang coffee? Which is not related. You are telling him something, you care for the person by offering the person to give assistance that is what he will need at the moment to be assuring na magiging hindi siya pabigat.
Okay. Baka ma-carry away ako eh. Okay, so I was just establishing the fact that Christmas, post-Christmas, a lot of people withdraw, they're tired, they're spent, and Christmas also emphasizes certain disabilities
Yes.
or certain relational deficits, like, yung sabi nga nila, Pasko malamig dahil wala kang kasama. Okay, you already said warning sign number 1. If you suddenly realize someone is not active, not present, or unheard from, then reach out and don't even wait for the signs. If you know someone is in those categories, reach out. Sabi nga nung commercial noon, reach out and call a friend, di ba? Now, what else, Doc Ali?
Para sa akin, no, the very evident naman talaga nakikita natin is when nararamdaman natin yung presence nila wala, okay? Because these people, the number 1 sign they will do is to really isolate and be silent. And this is the only thing I really actually watch out for. There are people who are empath, who are sensitive to the needs of others. But there are others who are not empath. Hindi ibig sabihin hindi sila magaling, ha? They have all their different talents, okay?
Mhm.
So if you see someone who is withdrawing, that's the first sign. Number 2, when that person, is not responsive, is also withdrawing. Eh. So I can only say most of the time, I would always understand if a person is withdrawing, is disconnecting, is isolating, is distant. Yan yung mga signs talaga na hindi sila okay. Para sa akin, these are the signs na hindi siya okay during this Christmas. Watch out, meron talaga sito mga tao din. During the holidays, disconnect sila. Bakit? Kasi, sa totoo, nawalan ng trabaho, walang pera pang gastos. These are also things that we should look into. Especially right now, the economy is so bad. We have to really be careful with people like this. People who goes out to work during the COVID and the holidays, we have to be more caring to them. People who lost their job. When I know of people, you suddenly, wala ka naramdaman to find out pala, the husband, the head of the family, lost his job just this year. Just few days before Christmas. Kaya pala tahimik sila. We look not only because of grief, no, it's not only about death. It's about loss of opportunity, loss of a job. These are all reasons for people to grieve. So pag nakakaramdam tayong ganyan, let us not hesitate to really reach out.
Doc Ali, what about people who are in stressful environment? Because top of mind for me during the Christmas were people working in hospitals, people who were working as law enforcement people. Yung bang naka-duty imbis na kumakain or celebrating Christmas, they're on duty. Are they at risk of being, how do you call it? Because, COVID, we were always afraid of infection of a virus. But there is also the thing that I've heard about where you get infected by the bad vibes or the depression or the situation that you're dealing with at work, in contrast to the high spirits of the season.
Diyan ako believe sa mga Pilipino. Magaling tayo. Our resiliency factor is very high. During the holidays, I try not to go out that much because I know there are lots of people, okay? But the little people, for example, you buy at a bake shop, you talk to the sales, hello, hi, malaking bagay na yan eh. Diba? Going to the mall, seeing the security guard, opening the door for you and saying, good morning, ma'am. And when you reply back to them sincerely, good morning, guard, mapapatingin pa sila sa iyo eh. Diba?
That's interesting, Doc Ali, because I observed that. I noticed that when my wife and I went to the mall on December 24, medyo inabot na ako ng gutom. Sabi ko, kain na tayo. And when the waitress came over and I greeted her and I said, Merry Christmas, before she could even do anything, You know, I noticed we got such a special service. Oh, sir, here's extra napkin. Sir, here's your water while you're waiting. And, you know, yung iba sarcastic, sabi, oh, nag-aabang ng magandang tip yan. But, you know, you could tell from her face that she really appreciated that someone gave her a sincere Merry Christmas.
Yes. And, you know, Cito, that's very, very nice of you. Lalo na they know you. And a lot, that's why those who are online, who are doing blogs, napakalaking bagay na isang ganyan lang, isang hello, isang kamusta. Like for example, when you go to the grocery, the cashier, Merry Christmas, how are you? How's your family? Masaya na sila. Another extra mile, a little extra mile lang. When you do the grocery, you don't have to buy expensive, okay? Small thing lang. One small delata or something, a noodle. When you go to the cashier, it's Christmas time. Merry Christmas, cashier. Of course, they are not allowed, okay? But you know, you can buy burger or something. Drop it by. Diba? After paying, when you go and eat outside, a little something for the guard. Malaking bagay. When saying Merry Christmas, how's your family? Thank you for working during the holidays, because these people are working while we are resting and having good time. Just to see to it that we are safe and we are served and we're okay. And it's but right that we mention and thank them and greet them as well.
Okay, we'll go for a quick break, Doc Ali. And when we return, let's hear from you regarding what to watch out for, how to head it off at the pass, or how to prevent mental health issues, post-Christmas depression, etc. Here on Agenda. We'll be right back after a minute. Welcome back to the program Agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, and today's topic has to do with post-Christmas, hindi to postpartum, post-party, post-Christmas celebration, depression, and mental health-related illnesses. With us is psychologist and certified specialist in counseling psychology, Dr. Lillian Gui, and aka Doc Ali. Doc Ali, apparently all the studies confirm that right after Christmas, a lot of people feel worse emotionally. Those who are in a bad place before Christmas, they just become worse after Christmas. And there are people who suffer anxiety attacks after Christmas. What causes all of this?
Uh,
Is this chemical?
Maraming,
Is this imagined?
oh, definitely. I don't think it can be imagined. These are more on clinical aspect. You know, when someone or anyone who goes through a pain or a transition, a terrible, painful, negative transition in life, nangyayari sa kanila. And of course, nandiyan na alam na natin, madalas ang sinasabi natin na chemical imbalance. Okay? Sa totoo lang, nangyayari po ito. Imagine, during the Christmas, the holidays, all your family, loved ones are here. They flew in from all over the world. Suddenly, puk, nawala na sila. Mamimiss mo yan eh. Di ba? Maaalala mo yan, the happy moments eh.
Mhm.
Or sometimes they would come home and then now, dahil sa COVID, may namatay, may family members hindi kasama, natural talaga you will be lonely, you will be depressed, you will be sad, and you will be anxious. Anxious because sometimes yung parang, ang dami nila, anong gagawin ko? Anong unahin ko? Okay ba itong chicken galantina ko? Okay ba? Paano? Marami eh. So many things to take into consideration that can really contribute and make the holidays a very, very stressful event. That's why I said nga, the holidays, we should remember, it's not the gifts, it's the one who gave us the gift of salvation. It is not how many putahe you'll be able to serve, but remember as we eat, those who have not eaten, and to also pray for them. So holidays, they can be very, very stressful. And this is very, very true. In fact, Cito, you know, starting, nagbi-build up na ako ng clients by September because those flying in, coming home, stressful na yan. Stressful sila to be with their holiday family. Pag alis naman nila, hanggang mga March pa ako kasi nandito naman na iwanan yung mga having the holiday blues depression. So
Okay,
it can
but
be very
is it
stressful.
so serious, Doc Ali, that they have to get counseling from a professional like you? I'm not discounting your importance, no, but I tend to think, pupunta lang ako kay Doc Ali pag medyo mental na talaga ako. But, di ba? But you're now saying that the arrival and the departure of family, of children going abroad, already racks up so many appointments in your calendar?
Because, okay, Cito, thank you for clarifying. And I'm so thankful a lot of our Filipinos right now are opening up to mental health. It's not about kung meron lang, but how I feel and to be guided, okay? Tayo lang dalawa, if we have our loved ones, our children abroad, matagal, 1 year, for example, 2 years, lalo na nung COVID, nagsara, di ba? Ang tagal, ilan years. Umuwi. Ang saya-saya natin, di ba, Cito? But true, aminin natin, even me, my daughter is here and I love her very much. And she's leaving already on the 30th. Ngayon pa, anxious na ako. That's why I told her, I don't want to look at the dates. I don't want to look kasi you just barely spend your holidays with her for 2 weeks kasi that's the only time she can get. So, nandyan lahat, it's very, very normal feeling for us to feel anxious because someone we love is leaving and going back. Totoo yun. So, marami. Look at the people at the airport lang. When I bring her to the airport, matapos ko punasin yung luha ko, yung katabi ko pala, nagpupuna. Marami pala din.
May kasama kang barangay na nagkakapin.
Marami. All of them. Ako at least punas-punas. Yung iba humihiyaw, yakap. You can just imagine the pain and the sorrow of, parting. Everybody feels that. It's very true. It's very, very, very normal.
But as a clinical psychologist, as a counselor, what do you advise people to do? How do you avoid falling off the cliff? Diba? Iba kasi yung medyo you're there at the edge, you're dealing with things, but some people just fall into the cliff. How do you prevent things from getting out of control? What do you tell your clients?
Hold it. Hold your emotions. Accept your emotions. Tanggapin mo na lulungkot ka, tanggapin mo na yung mga all of these emotions because nobody can deal with your emotions. Even the best psychologist cannot help you with your own emotions. You should be the one helping yourself. Hold your emotions. Tanggapin mo. The good, the bad, tanggapin mo. As I mentioned, hold your emotions. Hold your memories too. Think of the good times you spend together. Think of the bad times you spend together. And do not always rest on the bad side or the negative side pag alis niya. Pick the good ones. Be mindful. Remember them. Keep them in your memories. And also, you know what, Cito? Food plays an important part. Ibang tao, pag nadidepress, kain sila ng kain ng kain. Ano ba yan? Di ba? Tapos na yung holidays. Watch out what we are eating. Slowly go back to your normal routine. Write down or think about the things that you should do. Ngayon, umalis na si Kyra. What are the things that I should go back to doing every day? Again, reviewing my clients' files. Mga ganon. And don't forget to you always take your time to take care of yourself. Ngayon na umalis na sila, because when they are here or when your family are around you, you are so busy. Minsan nakakalimutan mo nga, nasa mo na ilagay yung sandok o yung serving spoon di ba? Mm-hmm. Now is the time. This is me. I have to take care of myself. Be mindful of how to take care of yourself. And remember, ilan ang umalis? Ilan ba nandito? You still have a lot of loved ones here with you. Okay. Spend time also with them.
Okay, the relatives or relations, I mean, that's a very evident trigger. But for other people, what are the triggers that they should be careful about? Kasi now I thank God for technology. You know, your daughter leaves at the end of the month. You can talk to her within hours, even on the plane. If if you want, she was desperate enough, you can talk to her on the plane because meron ng technology. But what about other triggers? What are the dangerous things? Sabi mo, be careful about food because people try to deal with their depression, eating food, eating too much, okay, or withdrawing, etc. Well, but what are the other triggers? Kasi some people, patay, anong gagawin ko? Wala na akong pera, or paano ko babayaran yung mga in-advance ko, etc.
That is why it's very, very important that we should understand and know our triggers. What are our triggers? Kung alam natin ano ang triggers natin, mas maiiwasan natin. For example, kung alam natin ang trigger natin is we overspend, then we should learn to budget. Okay? We have to find out what are our triggers. If you lost a loved one, what are your triggers? Your trigger is remembering memories with your loved ones. Anong mga na-triggers na yan? Pag alam natin yan, maiiwasan natin. That's why it's very important that before the holidays, we should already plan, number one, our spending habits. Do not overspend. Kasi most of us overspend and after the holidays, dyan sila bagsak na bagsak. Kasi ilang buwan, ilang taon nila babayaran ng utang nila. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have to really know our triggers.
Do you teach your clients or your patients, okay, this you can do something about, this is beyond your control? Because meron nga sinasabi, ipasa-Diyos mo na yan, pare. Ito na lang munang may magagawa tayo kasi pinoproblema mo yung that is not in our control.
I love that question, Cito. I always tell my client, look, two hands, okay? Things you can control on your right hand. Kung right-handed siya. Things or thoughts you cannot control or situations that you cannot control on your left hand. Mm-hmm. Weigh it. Ano ang kaya mong gawain? If something is in your mind and causing you to be sad and anxious and you know, I don't want to use the word depression, okay? Think about it. Can you solve it in 12 hours or 24 hours? And if you cannot solve it in 24 hours, time to let it go. Sinasabi ko, we are wonderfully and perfectly made in His image. Okay. Hindi tayo basura. So, ang mga bagay-bagay na hindi natin kaya, wag na natin itambak kasi mabubulok lang yan sa damdamin natin at pag-iisip at pagkakatao natin. Throw away things you cannot control. Things that you can control, come on, let's work on them slowly. What are the things you want us to work on? What are the top 1, 2, 3 you want us to work on? And we focus on the things that we can control.
what are the things that most people don't realize they can control? I know, like anger, you go to a punching bag, you go for a very, very long walk, or you go into a bedroom and scream until you are deaf and voiceless. Medyo mababawasan yan. I remember during the holidays, we refused to drive in Metro Manila. Sabi ko, maglakad na lang tayo. And after walking 6 kilometers, we realized we did not experience road rage. We exercised. And by the time we got home, took a shower, went to bed, we were out. Kumbaga, no more thinking, no more worrying. So just, doing that long walk was enough for us. But what are the things many people don't realize they can do something about?
I posted on my Facebook a few months ago. After more than 30 plus years of doing counseling, I found out the main reason why people have problems is because they have forgotten that they can always say no.
Wow. Okay. Let's talk about that, because that is my wife's favorite phrase. Filipinos need to learn to say no.
Set boundaries, yes.
Okay. Yeah, but say no to what? Kasi maraming Pilipino dyan, di ba? Parang hindi ako makaindi et cetera. How do you say no to a child? I don't want to hurt my wife's feelings, etc.
Just say no. Simple lang. I don't know. Wait, I know. Whenever
Explain why they have to say no.
Because that is self-preservation. Kung hindi mo kaya, wag mo na pilitin. For example, trabaho, bibigyan kang 3 trabaho, wala ka naman manpower sa 3, kaya mo lang 2, di tanggapin mo lang 2. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
For example, pinapapunta ka sa isang party, hindi mo na kaya, masama ng pakiramdam mo, say no. For example, sabihin, ikaw ay mag-drive ng kotse, hindi ka marunong mag-drive, baka mabangga mo pa. Say no. For example, sabihin, kainin mo ito, ang sarap-sarap ng hipon, fresh yan, bagong luto, but you're allergic to hipon, say no. Mm-hmm. If your wife says, you greet this tito or tita, ang bait-bait niya sa atin, huwag kang bastos sa kanya, but if you don't feel like it and you know this person is toxic to you, you don't have to be rude, but you can gently say no. Diba? Sorry, gustuhin ko man, pero yes, I can just be kind and say hello and that's it. Set limits, set boundaries. Don't be people pleaser. Alam mo ba, ang nakakasira sa pagkakatao natin is our being people pleaser.
Mm-hmm.
Diba? When you say no, people will get mad at you. That is their feeling. That is their body. That is their energy. Pero at least you do self-preservation para sa sarili mo. Diba? Mm-hmm. Learning to say no means I care and I love myself to be able to protect myself. For who will protect you if you don't protect yourself? Learning to say no is good.
That a feature of people who suffer from mental illness or issues, that they are people who need to learn to love themselves more than anything?
Yes. Because as I mentioned, if you're a people pleaser, it will drain you not only mentally but physically as well. It shows in your katawan. Magkaka-allergy ka, magkaka-migraine ka. So learning to say no is self-preservation. You can always say no in a nice way. Diba? Mm-hmm. For example, when you are in line, ang haba-haba ng grocery line, tapos may isang tao, nakapila ka. Ang tagal mo na nakapila, naka 10 minutes ka lang, tapos sasabihin sa'yo, pwede pa singit, 2 lang ang bili ko. If you don't feel like it and you think it is not right, then learn to say no. Ma'am, sorry po pumipila po ako But maybe you can try, but for me, it's a no.
Mm-hmm.
Learn to say no. Kasi if you don't, kaysa naman na pinayagan mo, ang dami mo sinasabi, ang dami mo sinisisi, tinitignan mo siya ng masama. Bakit pa maganda negative feeling? Just learn to say no kasi it will help preserve you for a long, long time.
Let's look at the long-term view, because I'm working on an article right now where I'm pointing out to people that all of this goes back to parenting. When we belong in a culture that is permission centered. You always have to get permission from someone, from authority, from parents in school. And then that leads to being performance minded, that you need to perform or do something good, something great, so that you will get the permission or the recognition. And then before you know it, you elevate or you complicate matters. You reach a point where you're now a lifelong victim of rejection or fear of rejection. Am I correct in that assessment, that it all begins at home and many parents don't realize this?
Yes. Cito, for example, I'll give you a very, very small example we overlook. Babies, toddlers. It's not their responsibility to make us happy and to make us smile. Tama ba? But we expect our babies to make us happy, to make us smile. That's expectation of the parents. During the COVID, the height of the COVID, I have lots of parents who told me that their children are anxious and are behaving strangely at home because they cannot go out and socialize. To find out, study shows children do not feel that way. They don't have that kind of feelings. It's the parents that are anxious. Many times, it's the anxiety of the parents that is passed on to the children. Kailangan magaling ka mag-aral kasi hindi ako magaling mag-aral. Kailangan maging doktor ka kasi hindi ako naging doktor. Kailangan nagtrabaho ka sa mga multinational company kasi ako hindi. Many times, it is us parents instilling and giving those stressors and anxiety to our children unconsciously. That's why we grew up in a culture where they have to study. Look, di ba may mga certain race, mga doctors sila, di ba? May mga certain race, mga ganyan, attorney sila, magaling sila sa finance. These are passed on to them by generations, and generations. Yes. Sadly, talaga tayong magulang, na-pass on sa atin eh. Na-pass on sa kanila. We pass it on to our children.
So even our behavior during Christmas, the stress, the pressure, the anxiety, is it correct to say, namana mo yan sa nanay mo eh. Yung nanay mo, ganyan na ganyan pag Pasko eh.
Di ba totoo? Ang nanay ko, ang galing-galing gumawa ng chicken galentina. Dapat ako magaling din gumawa sa chicken galentina. Ang nanay ko, ang specialty niya tuwing Pasko is crabs. Dapat masarap ang aking crab. Special sauce ito. Diba? We hear that. And whenever I hear that in parties, I smile.
Because you remember your own.
Yes. And I remember my own. And I remember now that these are the things pala. These can be my triggers. These can be my stressors. And there are things that I can do and should do to help preserve myself mentally.
Okay, Christmas is finished. People are still struggling. They still have the hangover. Mahirap naman magparty ulit. Para, like, most alcoholics say, if you have a hangover, just drink another shot. But with Christmas over, we can't replay it. What can we do to just get over all of this anxiety, the stress, the mental issues or triggers that occur because of the holidays?
Number one, as a very famous doctor whom I followed, always remind us, eat healthy. Tapos na tayo, Cito, I'm sure we overate. With the lechon sometimes, with the salad sometimes. Marami, we overate this season.
Praise the Lord. I am vegetarian, so there was hardly anything to eat. So me and my wife, we did not overeat. Everyone else,
maganda.
Lamon.
Maganda, ang ganda nga eh. But again, go back. Eat healthy. Tapos na yan. Eat healthy. Drink lots of water. Vegetable is good for the body. Eat healthy. And then remember again to practice, understand what are your stressors and your triggers. because this is how you become mindful of what's happening every day in your life. Okay?
You know, that's
Remember-
interesting. When you mentioned eat healthy, drink a lot of water, because many people ate so much fat, so much sugar, drank alcohol, which even in a moderate volume, alcohol is not natural to the body. So in reality, it takes many days. I think 4 days to just cleanse all of that. And while it's in our body, it's messing up or confusing our natural rhythm or natural system. So habang nasa katawan pa natin yan, it creates havoc in our mind.
Yes. Simple lang, sinabi ng lola ko, when you eat a lot, you tend to eat a lot of oily food. And then you drink cold cola. So you add sugar and you add ice. Where do you think the fats will go? That's why, di ba, yung mga Asians tayo, Chito, mga Asians, mga Vietnamese tayo, Hong Kong, mga ganun, we tend to drink hot tea to dissolve the fats. Okay, anyway, going back, we eat healthy. Okay? We always learn to, ang importante talaga, we always have the choice to think of what to put inside our mouth. What we put inside our mouth is what we put inside our body. So it's very, very important to eat healthy, understand our stressors, our triggers, take time to take care of yourself. Ngayon, pagod ka na. Nung dumating mga loved ones mo, kasama mo, ganon, you also feel tired. Time to rest. How do we rest? Sometimes we can just sit on a chair. Just take breathing exercises. Diba? Connect again with the people around you. Because you don't go back to work agad, tambak trabaho, no. That's why you have to do your work slowly. And when you go back to work now, after the holiday season, learn to, when you go back to work, take short breaks. Hindi mo pwede magawa agad yan. Balik ako sa office, 8 hours a day. No. Take breaks. That's why I allow people in the office after the long holiday to take small breaks. Not merienda break, but a little more time for breaks para dahan-dahan mabalik niya ang daily routine niya. And reach out if you need help. There are so many professionals.
Okay, reach out if you need help. How do you tell you need help?
When you know what you are feeling right now is stopping you, is causing you not to live a normal life. Kung hindi ka na makatrabaho, wala kang gana makipagkita sa mga tao, parati kang sad, parati kang lonely, ito parating iniisip mo, reach out. Maraming tao diyan tutulong sa inyo. Cito, people like you, people like our priests, people like our pastors, our church member, there are so many church helping, church pastoral care. Many can help you. Ang maganda sa atin ngayon, we are not only educated, we do not only learn, we are also trained. Many lay people are trained to be people helpers. So do not hesitate to reach out and call a friend. And if there are any organizations who wants to be trained to be people helper, yes, there are so many professionals who can give trainings to that as well.
Okay, well, Doctora, that is a handful and a mouthful and a head full of advice, and thank you for the time you spent with us. Do you have a website where people or Facebook that people can reach out to you, or how do people contact Doc Ali?
I have an Instagram account. They can go and look at Gabay Ali, or they can email me at gabayali@gmail.com. Gabay is Gabay, Ali, ALI, @gmail.com. And I have an Instagram account they can follow as well, or Facebook.
Okay, well, I do hope that people will be progressive enough, open-minded enough, and loving themselves enough to consult with you if they feel they have a problem. Doc Ali, thank you very much for your time this Christmas, and God bless you.
Blessed New Year, everyone. Thank you.
Okay, that's Doc Ali, Lillian Gui, and that's all we have for today. Let's now go to our Christmas blessing. As we close the program, we leave you with this week's blessing. May peace and plenty be the first to lift the latch at your door, and happiness be guided to your home by the candle of Christmas. God bless everyone. Have a great day, great week. Thank you. Keep it here on One News.